Well, hello there everybody, how's it going? Meister here. Welcome back to the beautiful city of St. Patricksburg, Gasparilla County, Florida, USA, where we will finally, once and for all, be finishing the city as a whole. So we have this large chunk of land here that I haven't got a chance to finish yet. We've done some fair progress in the industrial zone, and in that episode I'd set out to finish the city, but unfortunately we ran out of time, and I was left with just this piece of land to finish up. Now, initially, I was just going to build some boring old residential zones and just kind of finish things up here. But then I thought, you know what, why not build something so much more interesting here? And that's when I've got a few ideas that popped into my head, and I think that we can build something really special over here to finish off the city. So without further ado, we're going to jump right into it, and I'm going to be working, for starters, within this block over here. Now, I'm going to start by lining our main arterial roads with some stores, as is very typical in Florida. So you would have like maybe a Walmart and a Publix and all that kind of stuff lining the main roads just like this. And then in the back here is where things are going to get really interesting. So what I'm going to be building in the back here is a typical Florida style trailer park. Now, this wouldn't be a proper Florida build without at least one trailer park on this map. These are pretty much synonymous with Florida. They are everywhere in the state, and that is exactly what we're going to be doing here today, and I'll show you how it's done and tell you all about it. So I'm going to start by building out some roads going off into this direction. This is going to be, I guess, the main entrance to our trailer park. And then I'm going to build a road off into this direction. So we're going to set this up in a sort of simple grid pattern, as a lot of these trailer parks seem to be built that way. So I'm going to leave 4, or maybe even like 6. No, that might be a little too much. So I'm going to leave 3 here. And then I guess I'll do 4 blocks deep along this road. So that's going to enable us to plop some 2x2s, because typically in a trailer park you don't typically have very much land to go along with your home. So we're going to start off with this, and then we'll build out a bit further along this canal here. So we'll see how it goes. Now I'm going to remove all of these trees. Just gonna get this all out of the way. It's gonna make it much easier to build. Now you're probably asking yourself, how am I going to build this trailer park? Well, I don't think it's gonna be very difficult. The only thing we're gonna have to do is to use find it, and I will have to plop down all of my buildings within this trailer park, because if I just zone, all kinds of buildings of all shapes and sizes are gonna spawn here, and we don't want that. We just want to limit ourselves to a few specific residential buildings in here. So I've already narrowed this down. We're going to narrow it down to just residential buildings, and I've applied a filter to only have 2x3s and maybe 2x2 buildings. And we're going to browse here to our North American style buildings, and the ones that I'm going for are in this style here. So this looks very Florida. You know, you have your flat roof. I guess the only thing missing from this build would be a carport. You know, in Florida, you may have like just one big roof. Like the roof should continue here and connect over here where you would have a carport. So maybe we can like detail one in on a couple of these buildings. That would be pretty cool. So most of the trailer park is going to be comprised of these little homes. I guess maybe a trailer park wouldn't be the proper terminology for these areas, because this isn't really a trailer. This is an actual home on somewhat of a foundation, I guess. You know, they are permanent, but yeah, these are all over the state. And I think there is only 2 variants that we have available to us in this style. We do have like these houses too that could be pretty interesting. Maybe I'll plot one down in this case here because it's an end lot. And then over here, the reason why I left this lot blank is the owner of the park needs a house. And of course, he has to have a nicer house than everybody else, right? So I'm gonna build a bigger house over here. I think that this looks a little bit too big though. This is a little too suburban. Let's build something a little bit more tame. No, that's a bit too modern. This as well. Let's see here. What do we got? No, that's a little too big as well. What about in the European variant? Oh yeah, this could be quite nice. Here, let me try to rotate this around. There. You know, it's not too in your face, still relatively small, just a bit bigger than the trailers, but you've got a garage and you've got a backyard, so it does look a bit better. So let's continue going along here. We're just gonna basically paint this entire area. Oh, but I can't fit any 2x3s here. I haven't looked, but hopefully we've got these same houses in 2x2s. It appears we do. Wonderful. And then we have a couple of variants of these buildings. They look very similar to one another, so I'm just gonna make a nice mix of the two. There we go. Now this is looking a little tight. I think I might actually use move it and just space things out ever so slightly. Just gonna drag things a bit farther out like this. So at least you have a little bit of spacing in between these homes. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna space them out a bit more. I probably had enough room already, but I just wanted to make sure that we have enough room for some walking trails in between these houses, which, you know, it doesn't really serve a purpose, but it'll look cool. And it'll have some connections in between these two lots, just like so. May as well have a walking path into the park, just like that. And then over here by the canal, I guess you could assume that these would be some slightly nicer homes. You know, you've got a bigger lot, you're by the water, so these lots would be a little bit more expensive, we'll say. And there we go, guys, our beautiful trailer park that I'm not even sure it should be called a trailer park, as I said earlier. So now let's work on a little bit of detailing. So I'm going to start off by building some paths alongside our canal, as I've done for pretty much the rest of the whole city. And you know, this is just kind of like some minor details, but I think they're pretty necessary. There. Oh crap, it built it in a bridge. That's not what I want. Here, I'm gonna start over here. There we go. So this is going to be an actual seawall. Connect it up to the bridge. This is fine, this I can deal with. We can just go here and build a key, and that will make it into a seawall, which I can then lower and then stretch under the bridge, just like this. So now what I'll do is just select each node, and then we're just gonna raise this up. Oh crap, I didn't mean to raise the bridge as well. But you know what, that doesn't look terrible actually, so I think I'm just gonna leave it. And there we go, and then I think here we should be able to hook this up. Hopefully without breaking everything. Yeah, if we hook this up together, just like so. Perfect. So this entire length is walkable. And actually I'm going to provide another connection over here as well. Right, beautiful. Now the only thing left to do is to decorate this area a little bit. So I'm gonna dot the whole thing with some palm trees, of course. Oh no, I want some fully grown palm trees, please. And I'm gonna boost. Okay, the brush strength is at 100%. So let's go along here and just dot this whole area. Doesn't look like we can fit any in between these buildings, so I guess I'll turn on anarchy and then manually plop a few, you know, in people's yards. Hopefully these buildings don't upgrade. And let's do some Florida palms as well. No shortage of these all around the state. And let's do maybe some, I don't know, maybe a couple hickory trees. You know, I'm really not familiar with what kind of trees are where. You know, I have a general idea, like there's no palm trees in the Arctic, but I don't know what trees are native to Florida versus which ones are not. So forgive me guys if I'm placing some trees that are just not at all supposed to be in Florida. But let me know down in the comments if I'm doing anything like that. There, and I guess, you know what, this would be like an older park. I think a lot of these parks were built like back in the 60s and 70s, so then we could assume that some of these trees would be a bit more mature, you know. Now I don't want to go too crazy because there's typically not a ton of trees within these parks, but we can still plop a few here and there. And actually, if I turn off anarchy, I think I can fit some more in behind here. A couple of hickories. A couple of linden trees, maybe. There, we get this all decorated nicely. All right, looking wonderful, guys. That is very Floridian. It turned out better than I expected. That's awesome. So let's continue on. I'm gonna build some housing over in this corner as well. This is just gonna be some generic housing though. I'm not gonna build anything too crazy over in this spot. Why is that looking all weird? There, 90 degrees. Sure, 90 degrees. Perfect. And we're gonna go back to our classic North American style housing that we all know and love. We'll let all of this develop naturally. And now these houses are awfully close to the highway. Noise pollution is going to be a concern, so I'm going to build some sound barriers just along this stretch of road, just like that. And then why don't we just throw in a few trees in behind some of these homes. That'll dampen the sound a bit more as well. Now I know Florida has some pine trees as well. I'm not sure how common they are, but there certainly is some. Maybe I'll plop a couple there within our trailer park. Not much, but just a couple. There we go. Now the only blank space we have left, you know, maybe over here we could have some apartments. Now I have figured out that European medium density actually looks better than North American medium density in a Florida type setting, just because they kind of look more Hispanic, I would say, you know. They kind of look more Latin American. What am I looking for? I'm looking to plop a parking lot in behind this building. So I'm just going to do a tiny parking lot. There we go. So I think that's going to conclude. Oh, nope. We still have a little piece of land here, which I don't know what we're going to use for. Is there anything useful that we could build here? Maybe like a road maintenance depot? I don't think so. I mean, these buildings are huge. And do we even have one in the city? I don't think. Oh, yes, we do. We have one over here. But I don't know. Yeah, this is... One building is not going to suffice. So I'm going to build another one over in this corner of the city. Oh, look at that. It actually fits perfectly right here. So let's do that. And can I build an upgrade? Do I want to build an upgrade? $7,500 a month. Sure. Why not? The city is kind of in rough shape right now as far as road maintenance. So yeah, we're definitely going to want to get some trucks out there. Okay, well, let's keep going. So I think that is going to do it for here, apart from this little piece of land, which I really don't know what we can fit here. I have a taxi depot. We're going to need a bus depot, which I think naturally should go in the industrial zone. So I'm just going to preemptively plop one without even looking at my budget, but I think we're good. Oh, yeah, look at that. That's beautiful. We're making money. Let's see here. I have fire services are good. Health services are okay. Education services are lacking, but I mean, what can we do about that? Research. Oh, maybe a geological research station? No, this is huge. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to build a small water tower, so that's going to provide us with a little bit more water. And I'm just going to build some boring old office space. So we'll have one office building right over here in this little corner. Okay, so now let's continue on the other side of our canal. Now, we do have a weird piece of land here, which I'm not sure what I'm going to do with, because this is not really prime real estate. I think this would be suitable for some more industries, perhaps. So let's do a little something like this. And then I'm going to curve this road into this direction, just like so. And then we'll cap it off with a little roundabout. And I guess let's just line this up with some office space. Or I don't know, maybe some housing. I guess housing would be fine. You know, not all housing has to be in these really beautiful, luxurious locations. You know, this can just be some regular old neighborhoods. So let's do that. I'm just going to line this up here with houses. Yeah, I guess this would be quite close for a house on this cul-de-sac, but that's okay, because let's manually plop a 3x3 just like this, and I'll just scooch it over a tiny bit. There, that seems okay. And then we'll do our little trick here. Let's go right to the edge of the water. I might have to straighten out my canal a little bit. I don't think this is gonna work. If I do this, that's fine. That's good. There, so this is a little lumpy bumpy, but that's okay. We have our trusty friend Move It here to fix us all up. So let's highlight all of this. Boop. And then we'll go toolbox, I believe, to object height. And I'm actually going to highlight this piece on the other side. So then that's gonna bring our canal to the exact same height. And I know this isn't completely straight, but that's fine. Not too worried about that. And I'm gonna reduce my brush size to 20. And I'm just gonna lower my terrain just a little bit so we don't have these weird chunks of dirt sticking out from the side. Just like that. Oh, oh shoot, that's right. I screwed up here, guys. Hang on. I gotta use my slope tool. There, and that'll clean everything up. There we go. That's wonderful. And then alongside this side of the canal, maybe we can build... Maybe we can plop just a couple trees here and there. All right, so with all that being built out, we're gonna move on to the other side of these railroad tracks. And the first thing I'm gonna address is my emergency battery station, which is just not charging at the moment. And I think that is a result of my incineration plant just not having enough. Well, yeah, I mean, we have garbage that it's stored. And it is producing energy, but it's not going into the emergency backup station. So perhaps I'm gonna build an upgrade here. Oh, I guess I gotta turn on anarchy because I move things about. And oh, wait a minute. Oh, hang on, I know. It's because Control A is like a hotkey now for something else. There, so now that I have that these extra diesel generators, I believe that is going to begin charging up our emergency backup station. So we'll just have to keep an eye on that, see what happens. And then in the back here, let's build some more offices. And then we're left with this giant block. What should I do with this block? Should I keep going with some warehouses and industry? I think so. Probably some more office space as well. There, so I'm not really sure how much demand it's gonna take to fill in all of this office space, but I could build some industry in between some of these zones as well. Oh yeah, that looks like it totally decimated all of my office demand, but that's okay, we can build some commercial as well. Let's get all different kinds of commercial buildings in here. All different sizes. And I guess the rest will have to be industry. But then in between all of this, we can plop down a series of parking lots to act as filler. Maybe we can build a few medium parking lots as well. Here, let me turn off anarchy so it's easier to see. I guess in the back, and then over here as well. Because we want all the parking. Now the thing I'm concerned about here is I don't want a ton of smokestacks. You know, I think over here in the port area it's fine because it's a port area, and I believe in Tampa there's some oil refineries and stuff near the water, but I don't necessarily want a ton of industry right in the middle of the city. But, you know, we might not have a choice because we have no office demand at the moment. But maybe if I just make sure to build in smaller lot sizes, that's going to limit the amount of smokestacks that we're going to have. So I'm just going to try to space things out nicely. And we'll see what this whole thing looks like once it gets all built up. But that is pretty much decimating my industrial demand. Look at that, guys. That's pretty wild. But that's all right. We have a load of commercial demand. And that's weird to say because if you guys remember, we were struggling to get any kind of commercial demand to sprawl up at a few points during this series. So I'm going to start off with that, and then in the back here, we're just going to go with some plain old residential. So let's build out some streets in this direction. I'm not going to go outside the map. I don't want there to be any any more outside connections than I need, because it, you know, as soon as I would connect this road, there would just be a ton of traffic coming through here, which we don't want. Oh, it looks like we do have some office demand that's coming back. So we'll see how this whole area develops. If there's too many smokestacks, then I'll just replace them with some office buildings. There, let's just keep on going with some waterfront style housing. Basically just gonna paint this whole area. Oh, whoa, I'm zoning outside the map. What's going on here? Buildings are actually sprawling up. Ooh, I don't know if I want that, guys. I'm scared. I'm scared it's gonna break the game. This game is already fragile enough as it is. You know, we don't want to push it too hard. Okay, but there we go. That should do it. Oh, this is along the main road. We've got some houses that are gonna sprawl up here, but that's okay. And let's keep on going here with the commercial zoning. Now, as it is, I'm already running quite low on, let's check here. Yeah, the capacity, we're falling behind in terms of elementary school capacity. So over on this side of the city, I think I'm gonna make an effort to build a quite large school to finally be able to fit everybody. So I guess, you know, this could pass as like a kind of an older part of the city, so I'm gonna go for a classic elementary school in this area. Not along, well, yeah, how about that? How about along this main road? Let's do it. Right along the main road, we're gonna build a big old elementary school, fully complete with a playground and everything. And on top of that, just to help us out with our capacity issue, I'm going to go ahead and build a second elementary school. And I am just going to go crazy here with the upgrades. We're going to build all kinds of them near the school. Maybe a couple here as well. So that's going to boost up our capacity by quite a bit. But not really. All of this, and we only have 1,000 population capacity, whereas just this one building we have 1,500. But that's fine. At least it looks kind of cool. And you know what? Let's not forget to build some parks We're gonna have a dog park over here, and I think I'm gonna build maybe a small park in this corner of the map as well. Oh yeah, that would look quite nice over there. And I think we're fine everywhere else. You know, well, you want everywhere to have some nice parks. But actually, what about over here near my schools? Can we possibly fit maybe like a soccer field, for example? Yes, we can. Should be able to fit it beside my school. Slope too steep. Yeah, that's right. We're dealing with a little bit of a hill over here, guys. This is not very Florida-esque to have these big hills. But that's okay. I'll just build this like so. And then I believe we should be able to fit a nice soccer field. There we go. Yeah, that looks nice. And then let's have some more residential zones in the back. Just like so. And I'll cap this off with, oh crap, I can't do a roundabout. Let me bring it out just a bit further. Cap this off. Gives us a little extra room for some additional housing. There we go, and may as well do the same over here. So what that's gonna do to our education system, it's gonna bring us almost on par with our demand. So maybe we can build another school over in this corner. But I think, here, what I'm gonna start by doing is I'm at least going to build a nice grass median along this stretch of road, because this is more of a residential area. Now, jumping into a time-lapse mode, over the next few minutes, I am going to be building up this residential neighborhood around this canal here. I have a little tiny bit of terraforming to do though, because of the terrain is a bit hilly over here. You know, it's not perfectly flat like much of Florida, so I have to do a little bit of terraforming to fix it up. And then I'll get started on actually building out this neighborhood. All right, so this neighborhood has mostly been built up. I will do a second pass over everything and detail everything up nicely. You know, I gotta add some seawalls and stuff to the canal and, you know, some small little details. But for the most part, everything is shaped up. Now, I'd just like to pay attention to this final little chunk of land over here where I think we could do something special. So I have a number of really nice signature buildings in both the European and North American theme that I think we could potentially build over here. You know, this looks like a little, not a peninsula, but it's like a little chunk of land that I think we should make into kind of like a private neighborhood. So I'm gonna build a little road off into this neighborhood just like so, and then I'm gonna split this road in two. And then we'll have it going off into this direction where, let's have a nice roundabout. And then we'll do the same thing over here. And I'm going to start off with some European low density housing. So we'll have some nice, you know, Mediterranean style houses that will build up along the coast, just like so. And then in the middle here, let's explore some of our nicer houses, we'll say. You know, some of the richest citizens of the city. Like, for example, we have a pop musician mansion that might look pretty cool here. Let's take a look at this. Oh, this looks like country vibes kind of thing. You know, we've got some farm fields in the back. I think this would be more appropriate for elsewhere on the map, though. Probably out in the sticks somewhere. So I'm gonna replace that building with something else. Let's take a look. We got a sculpture mansion. You know, this is a pretty small lot. I think I know there's a couple of bigger buildings here, like a golfer's villa. No, that's a little too big. We're gonna build a golf course at some point on this map, and I think this is where I want to build the golfer's villa. We're gonna build something similar to what we've done in Bixton a little while ago. We have a royal villa. I think a little bit too big to build here. What about an extreme athlete's villa? Oh, this is pretty small. An architect's mansion. Oh, this is nice. Can we build this along our cul-de-sac? I don't know. I don't think so, but that's fine. I think along the main road should be fine. Oh yeah, that looks pretty cool. This is kind of like Art Deco. All right, we're going for that. And then I guess I'll just build another big lot here. And I don't know, I feel like there should be some extra buildings right along the water. So what I'll do is build an additional road in the back here. We'll break up these zones with some paths. There we go. So that'll give us one large piece of zoning, which we will turn into one lot. Perfect. That is wonderful. Then what I will do here is add some trees in between all of these buildings. We'll get everything nicely treed in. Typically your nicer neighborhoods will be pretty well treed in, you know, for that extra level of privacy. Maybe I'll add a couple palm trees as well on this guy's property. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. We have finally finished the city of St. Patricksburg. We filled in all of this uninhabited area with some residential, commercial, offices, pretty much every type of zone imaginable, and this is the final result. I'm liking how this area has developed and how the city looks as a whole. You know, I'm kind of surprised that we were able to cram a city into this corner of the map. But the city is not actually complete. I kind of lied at the start of this episode, but not really. So we're done the city, but I have yet to actually finish all of the public transportation that's going to be available in the city. So probably in the next episode, I might feature an entire episode on building the much needed public transit infrastructure. So we're going to build buses. We're going to provide some more taxi infrastructure. And that's going to be pretty much it. I'm not going to be building, you know, any crazy subways or anything like that. You know, that does not exist really in St. Petersburg in real life that I know of. But if you have any suggestions, please let me know down below on what I should do for public transit. And what else do we have to do? We have to set up our trains as well. I have no cargo lines, no train lines whatsoever coming into the city. So we'll work on that in the next episode. But even with that being complete, the city as a whole won't 100% be complete, and I'll explain why. Because the city is going to expand over here on the mainland. This is mostly going to be comprised of suburbs, and then these suburbs are going to slowly dissolve into farmland as we move farther away from the city. But then we also have this massive key over here that a good portion of is going to actually be part of St. Patricksburg. So over here we'll find all sorts of interesting things. I'm planning on building a golf course. There's going to be a lot of residential over here. We're going to decorate this beautiful beach here, all nice and neat. So tons of cool stuff that are going to be coming to this area, which is going to be technically part of St. Patricksburg. But I guess overall we have completed the city in terms of infrastructure on the main peninsula, apart from like buses and trains and stuff like that. But anyways, guys, I'm going to leave it at that. I really hope you enjoyed this episode specifically, and also the progression of this series as a whole. I'm really enjoying St. Patricksburg and how it's developed. So if you enjoyed it as much as I did, drop a like down below, leave a comment, let me know what you think, leave me any tips and suggestions on what I should do as far as public transit goes, like I said. And if you like my content in general, feel free to subscribe, and also make sure to check out my Patreon, as there's some pretty cool perks on there too. So guys, thank you so much once again for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Take care.